6 pairs, 1 year, and infinite stories. 2025 wasn't just another year for Jordan. It was a reckoning. Between the hype drops and the misses, these 6 pair cut through the noise like nothing else. The black cement 5s brought back memories we forgot we had. Nigel Sylvester's Brick by Bricks turned construction into art. The Seoul 2.0s stitch heritage into every thread. And those white cement 4s, they finally got the shape right. But here's what separates collecting them from understanding. It's not just about having them, it's about seeing them. So I did what I always do. I brought them into the studio, I killed the lights, and I let each pair tell its own story. When you strip away the release dates, the resale prices, the IG post, what you're left with is craft, design, and intent. This is sneaker storytelling. This is why we're here. The black cement 5s, just another retro on paper, but Nike did something different. The build is sharper, the suede hits different, and when that tongue catches light, that's a mirror back to the first time you saw that pair on foot. You can't even front. The Seoul 2.0s, it's not just a nod to Korean culture, it's a master class in storytelling through materials. That embroidered kun, I think, means dream. And that word, it does the heavy lifting. It echoes something bigger. You can feel soul in this pair, pride stitched in every thread. The energy of the city that builds and redefines itself in another universe. Maybe a brand like Samsung tells this story, but here, Jordan did, through leather and laces. Not a collab, a cultural capsule, a dream made wearable. Let's talk about the Nigel Brick by Bricks. This one felt different. The color blocking, nods to construction, but the execution, pure artistry. The white cement 4s. After years of weird midsoles and bloated shapes, these felt right, like the 4s that mattered. The SB4 Navy isn't just Jordan dabbling in skate, it's a full conversation, built on transition, court to street. And we know I gotta talk about the rare Air 3s. Yeah, they sitting. But sometimes the best stories are the quiet ones. The reverse tabs, the subtle colorway, the refinement over flash. That's why these 6 made the cut. They weren't just drops, they were statements. Let's talk about why they define the first half of 2025. And more importantly, let's see how they look when you give them room to breathe. All right, now, let's get into this BTS. I'll show you how I lit each pair, how I set the frame, how I styled the laces, and let the story build from the ground up. This is where the magic happens, behind the lens. I hope you guys enjoy this BTS. It was a special one that I put together. Let's get into it. All right, this shot means a little more to me because I missed out on the pine greens. And that one, I'm not gonna hold you, that one hurt. I wasn't gonna let it happen twice. So when the navy pair dropped, I had to lock in and get them. I actually picked up this pair early from Flight Club. When the pine greens dropped, I traveled. I put in like massive amount of raffles. I went to all these different skate shops out here in Jersey and didn't hit. I didn't want this to just be a floating sneaker photo. I wanted to build tension with this shot. Like the shoe is in mid drop, that moment right before it touches the box. That's what this frame is all about, right? I shot this with my 90 millimeter at a 2.8, super shallow depth of field. So I'm going to focus stack it, right? I got 4 zones that I want to hit. I want to hit the toe. I want to hit the mesh and the laces and the heel, and then and then the top of the box. I left the second sneaker in the background soft on purpose. Just enough blur to suggest the full pair without pulling any focus from the one that's in the front floating, right? All right, so let's talk about the lighting real quick. The lighting was tight, the softbox with the grid on it. It's directional, no spill. I wanted the upper to catch a clean highlight, but mostly from the rear of the shoe where the Nike SB is. It adds a lot of character here, right? So I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like up close. So this is what the shot looks like, fresh off the camera. I like it. Hopefully y'all like it. So we're gonna focus stack, bring all this to the front and leave that one blurred out in the back. There's not much lace style in here. There's no crazy tricks. Just a natural drop. Just a natural drop, and the silhouette is doing all the work. This isn't a campaign look. It's still a moment I wanted to like really catch here. So yeah, I missed out on the pine greens, but I got the navy pair, and I'm gonna make this shot count. So I have the camera. It is not like a straight line. It's a little off. I won't call it a 45, but it's not dead. It's not head on. So let's take this shot. I'm gonna let the camera guide me through this focus stack. Beautiful. On to the next one. We done with that. We're gonna shoot the white cements next.
Moments later.
This is my first time ever owning a pair of white cement 4s. So this purchase wasn't really about hype or anything like that. I literally couldn't wear them before. The shape never worked for my foot. Nike retooled the silhouette on this run. And for the first time, the Air Jordan 4 feels right. I got a whole bunch of other Air Jordan 4s since Nike reworked the shape. We all know why that happened. Green pair, and that sneaker itself is one that I do have to pick up. This pair specifically, this pair came from my dude So For Real 845, and I actually doubled up on this after hitting on the shock drop earlier this week. I had to. It's a classic, and one like this does not sit around. It's probably one of the most popular releases all year. This isn't a reimagined pair. Remember, there was rumors last year that they was supposed to be. People did not like that. They ain't no vintage fading, no vintage fade, no faux aging. This is just a clean white smooth leather classic cement print, the way the white cement 4s are supposed to look. All right, let's get into the photography now. Let's stop praising the sneaker. So this isn't really a flex shot. It's kind of like a thank you, because after all these years, I can finally wear a pair of white cements and they're worth the wait. So I'm gonna let the camera guide me on where I'm gonna bring the focus in. Let's see where the camera itself wants to focus. All right, so it caught the mesh, the side panel. So next, where I'm gonna bring focus in, I'm gonna bring focus on the outsole, the underneath of the sneaker. I'm gonna bring in that lace on the floor, that lace tip. All right, that's my final shot. I'd say that's a wrap.
Later.
All right, so I ended up building another shot. First off, we back. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to do with this particular sneaker is that I wanted the features of the sneaker itself, I wanted to elevate them and show them. And the reverse heel tabs, I want to find multiple ways to express that. And I think this is my favorite shot. I still have one more that I want to take, but I got my inspiration. I'll put it up on screen where I got the inspiration from. But I was on Pinterest, and I'm just looking through Pinterest, and there was an image of this black cement Air Jordan 3s that I seen, and the shot was so fire. But I was trying to figure out how could I put my own type of spin and flavor to it, and this is what I came up with. And I'll put the other image up after I show you this, but I love the way this looks. So I used a little bit of double-sided tape, and I brought in one stop control arm just to accent and add some movement to a still image, right? So these are my settings right here. I'm still going 1/60, f-stop of 5.0, and an ISO of 1000. I don't see any reason to make any changes there. The image looks nice. The lighting looks great. The gradient is soft in the back. You know what I'm gonna do? we gonna focus stack it. All right, it's the editing technique. It's a great technique to not lose character and detail in a lot of these shots. All right, so we're gonna take a picture. We're gonna see where it's gonna first focus. A lot of these are spaces where you can lose detail in a shot from the bokeh. Bokeh is great, but you know, especially when we're talking sneakers, you want to try to bring in as much detail as possible. Just like if you were shooting jewelry, you want to bring the whole piece into focus. Awesome, love all that. Very happy with this shot. We're gonna move on to the next.
Moments later.
All right, so I'm building this shot, or I've already built this shot here. So we're gonna bring this bounce card in here, boom. I might bring in a second one just to create more light. All right, that actually looks pretty good. I brought in a lot of light with that bounce card, with these two bounce cards that I have. So there's these silver panels that I have on the back of the bounce card. It's gonna reflect a lot more light at the shoe. Actually really cool that I can do that. Ooh, that caught everything. That brought everything into focus. Damn. That was a really good shot. This 90 millimeter, this macro lens just looks so clean.
Much later.
All right, we back with another one. So this is one of the cleanest frames from the entire session, right? The Nigel Sylvester brick by brick. I wanted this shot to feel like a still life. I wanted this to look like a product ad, if I'm being honest with you, right? I controlled the light, some minimal styling. I didn't get too crazy with the laces. I'm shooting it on my 90 millimeter at an f-stop of 2.8. This gave me, the lens itself gives me real good compression here, right? But also the depth itself, the depth of field, it's thin, right? So I don't want this image to look too flat, so I'm gonna stack it. I think I could get away with about 5 layers, right? If I focused on the toe, you can see the bokeh is, the toe is getting lost behind the bokeh. I'm gonna knock out the mesh panel and catch the lace loop that's against the floor. I'll get the heel tab is what the bike air text on the back also, but I might not need to. I could the camera guide me, right? So it should actually take me about 6 photos that I'm gonna stack on top of each other, and that should get the job done. Now, if we're talking about the light that's right over here, you guys could see, I used the softbox. I put a grid on it this time, right? This keeps things tight and the light directional. I got no bounce card because the shot looks pretty clean, if I'm being honest. What I'm just trying to do here is create a mood with this shot, which is why I added the crate onto my softbox. The loop across the collar adds a little bit of motion, some dynamic. The second lace is dropping towards the floor. It brings the frame down to earth. It balances the shot and it gives it weight without being too dramatic. The whole point was to say more with less, so I wanted things quite simple, and I think I was able to do that here if you guys take a look at the shot again. So a 6-layer focus stack, 1 on the crate, on the netting, 2 on the laces, and a whole lot of restraint. The sneaker itself is so damn fire. But anyway, let's get to it. We're gonna take these shots. I think we could do that. I think we could pull in that toe box. Beautiful. All right. So after we brought in the toe box and that forefoot, it's time to get the lace that's against the floor. I think one of the best things I could do is hit the tip of that lace. That should be Gucci. Good. Let's see what that looks like because it gives me a little preview shot.
Several days later.
All right, so we have another shot here. Ribbon acting as a leading line into the sneaker. I think I'm gonna do a 3-image focus stack here for a shot like this. Hold on, let me see if I can find my phone so I can show you guys the image of what it looks like. Found it. I'm not sure if you guys can actually see my camera, but it's straight down. Come on, let's focus. All right, so you guys see that right there? So I'm gonna focus stack this. I'm gonna catch around 8 to 10 inches from the sneaker. I'm gonna keep the foreground nice and blurry and just take some shots of the toe, the heel. So I'm probably gonna make sure I don't lose the toe, the collar, or this heel. And then I'm gonna bring in right around there, leading straight into that image. All right, let's take our first shot. Again, 3 to 4 image focus stack. That one should, wow. Took 2 of those by mistake. It was lagging. So that's image 1. Let me bring in that bottom right heel. Let's call that image 2. 3, let's bring in that collar / tongue area. Good. And the last image I want to bring in is a little more of that ribbon. Just a little more. Couldn't shoot. Let's bring that back into focus. Let's do it again. Good. Brought that image in nicely. We're gonna see how that works. Oh, lost some focus. My bad, y'all. Sorry for that, for losing some of that focus. But we took those shots. Let me actually show you guys how my camera is set up. Right down there. So like I said, we focus stacked it a bit. Used the ribbon that came with the box, that came with the sneakers themselves. Leading line straight to the sneaker. It's a really nice shot. On to the next. Six pairs, 6 stories, 1 constant thread. The details matter. From the suede on the 5s, the stitch dream on the Seoul 2.0s, to finally getting a white cement that felt right. This is what keeps me coming back. Not just the drops, not just the hype, but the design, the intention, the way a sneaker can capture time. If you felt that too, let me know in the comments. Not just what pair you liked, but what connected. And if you're into this kind of storytelling, the way of seeing sneakers, hit subscribe. I've got more stories coming, and I want people around who actually care. If you want to support the work, use the Nike link below for your next pickup, or grab some cleaning gear with code CULTIVATINGCOOL at Rejuvenator. I appreciate you for being here. Until the next one, stay curious, and I'm out.